A conflict breaks out in the Middle East, and thousands of miles away, the Indian economy braces for the impact. India imports 85% of its domestic crude oil requirements, creating a structural dependency on global supply chains. When the Strait of Hormuz is blocked by tensions, or a supplier like Qatar halts gas production, our economic engine loses its primary fuel source. At the Qatar gas storage facilities, idle tanks send a shockwave that hits Indian shores almost instantly. Other nations survive these sudden shocks by relying on strategic petroleum reserves, massive underground stockpiles meant to buy time. Because India has failed to build an adequate buffer, we are forced to buy fuel ship by ship, at whatever panic-inflated price the market demands. A geopolitical conflict abroad immediately becomes a domestic crisis at home, because we lack the internal reserves to absorb the blow. The first casualty is the currency. As we drain foreign exchange reserves to buy expensive oil, the rupee loses its value against the US dollar. That macroeconomic hit trickles down to physical industries. In Gujarat, the Morbi ceramics cluster, responsible for 75,000 crores in exports, is forced to shut down because they rely on imported natural gas to heat their kilns. Uncertainty reaches the public quickly. People aggressively stockpile red LPG cylinders, draining the domestic supply, out of fear that the gas will run out. You feel this crunch in everyday costs. When industrial fuel prices rise, a street vendor's simple 50 rupee sandwich spikes to 80 rupees, just to cover the skyrocketing cost of commercial gas. Meanwhile, citizens are left to navigate these impending shortages blindly, as authorities fail to communicate the reality of the situation. Relying on imported fossil fuels guarantees industrial paralysis and rampant inflation every time a global supply chain breaks. We are ignoring a massive, untapped fuel source sitting in plain sight. India generates over 1.6 lakh tons of solid waste every single day. Instead of letting waste rot in landfills, we can process it into biogas, a combustible fuel from organic matter piped directly into kitchens. India can generate 62 million metric tons of biogas yearly, eclipsing our current LPG consumption of 30.8 million tons. Processing our daily municipal waste solves the sanitation crisis while generating enough fuel to eliminate the need to import LPG. Certain commercial hotel kitchens are running flawlessly today, despite global gas shortages. Hotels in Bengaluru insulated themselves by shifting to localized biogas years ago. They are no longer vulnerable to the cost of imported fuel. In Hyderabad, the Bowenpalli market takes rotting vegetables and converts them into electricity to power the market itself, while turning the remaining waste into cooking fuel for their canteen. This model works at the household level too. Small concrete structures like this mini biogas plant allow families to generate their own fuel independently. In Maharashtra's Kolahar district, villages linked their household waste directly to these plants. By cutting off reliance on LPG cylinders, each family now saves roughly 12,000 rupees a year. Up in Punjab, the village of Lamra Kangri has pooled their agricultural and animal waste into a community plant. They have operated without a single external LPG cylinder for 10 straight years. These local energy loops prove that true energy independence is possible right now, without waiting for global supply chains to recover. To scale this, the government launched the Satat scheme. Satat is an initiative designed to produce compressed biogas, or CBG, specifically for the transportation sector. While the target was 5,000 plants, only 1,332 exist today. Bureaucratic delays, complex approvals, and difficulties securing bank loans have slowed the rollout. Private capital is now stepping in to break the bottleneck where government initiatives have stalled. Reliance is investing 65,000 crore rupees to independently construct 500 compressed biogas plants across Andhra Pradesh. Corporate scale is finally recognizing that municipal waste is a lucrative, infinitely renewable commodity. The era of cheap, reliable imported oil is ending as geopolitical instability becomes the new norm. The next step is generating biogas on an industrial scale and blending it directly into our existing piped natural gas networks. This creates a shock-proof energy grid for every home and business. We must shift our focus from hoarding finite resources shipped from overseas to actively processing the renewable resources we generate in our own cities. Atmanirbharta, true self-reliance, is realized when we power our economy entirely from within, independent of foreign reserves or military might.